Hello everybody, welcome to the Green Path. I'm very excited. I am in the middle of sitting with Robert. Right now we're in RCGreen, La Brea and 3rd in Los Angeles. He's gracious enough to speak to me today so I could bring you some information just about what he does. So I'm curious first to find out, you have a very colorful background. I know that you have been, first of all, you were a model, and then you were in a rock band, and now you design eco furniture. Can you talk to us a little bit about your progression into the eco-friendly furniture?
How did you find out about that?
I have my sources.
I've been designing furniture for a while. So designing furniture has always been a passion of mine. Getting into the eco side of it was something I did for, I was asked to design a eco lounge. Well, I was asked to design a lounge, just a lounge for a movie called Who Killed the Electric Car. And they were doing their premiere. And so I told the individuals who were doing that I would create an eco lounge. And actually they said, what is an eco lounge? And at that time no one had ever done an eco lounge. I just called it an eco lounge. So,
Okay.
So I decided that I was going to make everything in this lounge organic or sustainable or as friendly, earth friendly as possible so people would sit in something that they never sat in before, or been in an environment that would allow them to still, it would be still cool, but it would be actually earth friendly. But at that moment, like I said, there was nothing to base it on. So I kind of thought, okay, I can do this, or I can, make the wood from this, or I can make the furniture from this, or I can get the lights from this. However, I did it. And we actually have pictures of that lounge.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So I'm curious though. So you said you had been designing before.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your epiphany? How did you come to know that this was something that was good to do? It just seems like, was it organically? Had you been reading on this? What really got you to the point where you knew that this is what should be done in terms of making furniture?
There actually wasn't anything.
Wow. Okay.
So there wasn't anything to go by. So there wasn't any talk about eco-friendly furniture. There wasn't any talk about eco-friendly lounges or eco-friendly clothes. There was no talk about eco anything.
Mm-hmm.
There was talk about a movie called Who Killed the Electric Car, and when I sat back and I thought, well, if we create an eco lounge, what is an eco lounge? There was no word eco either. It was, I just decided to make a lounge that people can come and sit in, and everything in that lounge would be, there was no such word as earth friendly. There was no such word as green. There was no such word as any of it. We called it, what did we call it? We called this lounge the RCGreen home.
Okay.
We didn't know what to call it, or I didn't know what to call it, because there was no such thing as this.
Okay.
People were wearing, organic clothes and organic this. So what happened was, I was creating a place that people can come and sit, and I thought, well, what can I do to make this different? Because it had to be different. I was told it has to be different.
Right.
So I thought, okay, well, if I put this, if I'm making a piece of furniture and it goes with wood, what kind of wood can I use? Well, I thought, why don't I use wood that's already there that we could just recycle, or why don't I use wood that's from a forest that they're going to replant trees? And then I thought, well, if we can use this on the wood, then it's more earth friendly, I guess, or it's more kind of, we'll go with the theme of Who Killed the Electric Car. We'll just kind of like go with it. And they were having organic food, I think, or healthy food at that time. They were going to have healthy food at this. So I thought, well, this would be healthy. So then I thought, instead of using this fabric, why don't we use fabric that's really from a sheep? Let's use real wool. Let's use real, like there's no ingredients in it. And so it became this lounge that was really hip. And when people were coming in saying, well, what is this? I was saying, well, this is an organic lounge. I don't know. Then I would call it a earth-friendly lounge. And when people were asking me what it was, I was trying to explain to them that it was just a whole bunch of stuff that was environmentally friendly, or healthy or natural. So it just evolved to RCGreen and to me personally, doing reclaimed woods or anything else.
Okay.
So it was kind of like at the beginning you kind of just do something and you don't really know what you're doing, but everybody else, and now because everybody's doing something, it's like you or some guy who did something.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically it sounds like you really honestly implemented or started the whole movement behind the eco-friendly furniture. Would that be fair to say? Is what it seems like.
That's those statements are. I can't.
You can't really.
I can't. You can't.
At least, okay. Is it fair to say at least one of the first? One of the few?
In the eco movement, of this, what I did was I actually humbly, of course. Okay, so very humbly, because my life changed. My life changed drastically from all these different things. But humbly, I was able to associate with people who were really conscious about the environment and really conscious about the way the earth is and global warming. I was privy and I was allowed, and I got to move with these people because I put a piece of wool and I created some lounge that was eco-friendly. So in the movement, in the green movement, yes, there's a certain amount of people who were there when it all was kind of like becoming something, and I was humbly allowed, or humbly I was, yes, there. There was a time where at the global green events, there was 5 people.
Wow.
Not 5,000 people. There was 5 people. And these are people who were there because they were eating properly, and they were driving the right things, and they were doing these right things, and I wasn't. So I was fortunate enough to create the hipness of sustainability. So I created something that became very hip.
Okay.
And then it kind of exploded.
Okay. And so when was this? When would you say this took off for you in terms of what you were bringing or what you were helping to bring to the forefront in terms of being environmentally conscious in all things, and specifically in this case with furniture and design?
Design and furniture and look. I think that I guess maybe a year into the movement, there was, it was before I actually created these lounges. There was the movement was it was associated with, I'm cool and old hippies, and it wasn't associated with stuff that had a meaning to it.
Right.
It was associated with, pot smoking and all people who were trying to live healthy and blah blah blah. And then what I did was I realized there was a certain look, there was a certain hipness to this. If we can create the hipness, we can create the general public who wants to be hip to actually see what's going on and be a part of this. And so, my thing is that my creation and my participation in this was to bring it to the forefront and to make it hip, make it cool, make it something. And so, speaking of the sustainability factor of this and living an eco life and living a healthy life, I stepped into being the green guy. So I kind of I created something and then I stepped into it.
Okay.
And so with that came all the stuff of being, Robert Craymer and RCGreen and RCGreen Home and RCGreen Furniture and RCGreen Design and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, I see. Now, what would you say is, well, no, I'm going to actually ask something else first. Now, you've designed rooms for the Oscars, Golden Globes, Sundance. How did those opportunities come about?
Everybody at certain Sundance, everybody at certain suites and certain lounges and certain backstage lounges and gifting suites and award lounges, everybody wanted to have an eco lounge.
Okay. And why do you think that was?
Because there had never been an eco lounge before.
Okay.
So it was a selling thing and a promotional thing for all the events, and it still is. We're going to be creating an eco lounge for something to do with the Emmys, that it's going to be a smoking lounge. Now, smoking is not healthy, but it's fake smoking. So there's those cigarettes that it's all fake, all the smoke is fake.
Interesting.
So I'm going to be creating a poker lounge for this. So everybody's going to be playing poker and smoking pretend cigarettes that have no smoke, and we're going to create the eco lounge to this.
Very interesting.
And so all the shows, everybody wants to make a sustainable footprint. Everybody wants to say something in their award shows or in their thing. They want to say something. Mm-hmm. And so what we've allowed this to do is by creating an eco lounge, you're actually showing the public that you're taking a step into sustainability. Mm-hmm. Now, you can't. when all the clothes are really hip looking, when all the clothes are really hip looking, the actors and the models and the general public will wear really hip looking, eco-friendly clothes. When all the shoes are eco-friendly and hip, they'll all wear those.
Right.
But in an award show, you can't change this and change that. No, you can't. What can you do to make a statement? Well, you create a lounge, a really hip lounge. How do you do it? That's what I do. We create an eco lounge that can hold 100 people or 5,000 people. I'm okay with it. And we create this lounge. It's all eco-friendly and all has cans for recycling, the whole thing. So people go to these lounges and they're in a sustainable environment, which is very cool.
That is very cool. Now, do you think that when people are going to these lounges, when they're at the award shows or whatever that may be, do you think that inspires them to actually translate that into their own living spaces? Do you think that it really makes a huge difference?
Yeah, I've been, again, humbly, and I've been in these lounges. I do, in order for me to do this, I just don't create the lounge, I go.
Okay.
And along with going, I meet everybody. And along with meeting everybody, I explain what's going on. So, I've sat down with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kristen Bell, and in turn, every one of them has said, wow, I'm going to be doing this, I would like to participate. I'm going to be doing that, I would like to participate. Or, can you create this for me? I'm, building this, or I'm doing a TV lounge. Or, with interviews like this, the general public who says, oh wow, and they'll contact one of our offices and they'll contact my assistant and they'll say, we're doing a TV lounge, or we're doing some furniture, or we're doing a car, or we're doing something, can you participate in this? And so, by visiting RCGreen.com or RobertCraymer.com, anybody can participate in this. Anybody can phone up and say, I need a mattress or a bed. What can we do? Recycled floors, or so that has given the exposure for everything we're doing.
Right. Now.